With Mercury finally clearing its post-retrograde shadow and entering into new terrain of the sky this week, it's almost like our lives are being gifted this opportunity to step into this brand new chapter with this week's astrology. Hi, my name is Comet and welcome to Just My Magic Monday, particularly your Magic Monday astrological weather report for the week of September 25th to October 1st, 2023, where we are discussing, just as we do every single week here in my Cosmic Corner with a beverage in hand, what is ahead for your week ahead horoscope, and furthermore, how you can lean in and co-create with the cosmos in order to live your most magical and your most aligned life. And so when it comes to navigating this week's astrology, it's important to channel your inner toddler. I'll explain what I mean. Firstly, this is a week that demands and prompts big emotions. It's a full moon week. And one thing's for sure when it comes to full moon weeks is as that moon gets more and more illuminated within the sky, you can expect emotions of your own to become more and more illuminated as well. Some of them you may already know around, yes, I knew I was holding resentment about that, or oh, I knew that I was angry about that. And some of them may catch you by surprise around, I have no idea why I lashed out at that. I have no idea why I'm crying right now, but I'm crying right now. And the ask is to embrace the wide spectrum of emotions that may surface because this full moon lands in the sign Aries. It is the first sign of the zodiac. It represents the spark of life. And when we compare the zodiacal wheel to a life cycle, it's said that Aries are the honorary toddlers of the zodiac. Now, if you are an Aries placement, I am not calling you immature. I'm not calling you a toddler. Let me explain what I mean when it comes to channeling our inner toddler. Toddlers are very honest. They're very forthright. They will let you know how they are feeling. They will cry if you tell them that they have to eat their peas before they can have dessert. They will be openly angry if you tell them that they have to stop playing with dinosaurs and go bathe. They will cry and sob and scream if they happen to fall and scrape their knee. But what happens after? They get over it. Like in 5 minutes, it's gone. It's on to the next thing, right? They allow themselves to have that big reaction, to have that big emotion. And because that permission is allowed, we're able to move through it. Because that's the energetic of an Aries moon, is that yes, there will be an immediate urgent response in regards to emotions, and you do need to be conscious around not lashing out, not misplacing your anger and frustration on people on the road or people at work, because let's be real, with the Aries full moon, we can feel the indication to want to lash out, to want to slam doors and cuss people out and flip people off. Like, let's be real, that temptation will be there within the cosmos, and you do need to be mindful of that, but you also need to allow these emotions to surface, because when you just allow them to be big and messy and raw, you give yourself the ability to let it go, to feel it and then let it go. That's the thing about Aries moon, is that yes, they will feel something and react right away, but they will let it go. So the ask is to feel these big emotions. Allow them to come up. Allow them to be messy. Allow them to be raw. Try not to take them out on anybody else, but give yourself the permission for both emotions that you are aware of, as well as unexpected emotions, unexpected desires, unexpected frustrations or angers within you. Allow them all to surface and allow yourself to be real, to be raw, to be forthright with what is coming up. And the more permission that you allow, the quicker that you will get to the other side of it, or allow yourself to release it. So channel your inner toddler. And I'm not saying that you need to kick and scream if you don't get your dino nuggets or anything of that nature. Those who have toddlers will understand. I'm not saying we have to be demons on this world. But what I am saying is give yourself permission to ugly cry if something upsets you, even if it's small. Give yourself permission to scream in your car before going into this meeting because this gal Patricia is annoying you so much. Don't feel like you have to keep all of these emotions hidden beneath a veneer around everything's fine and being overly attuned to appearance. Like Aries is about allowing ourselves to scream and have a reaction and cry because these emotions demand to be felt. There's something urgent and immediate behind them. And we can only keep things together underneath the balanced veneer for so long. The ask, though, is to try not to take it out on other people. Have your reaction, kick and scream over dino nuggets if you must, okay? But but try not to terrorize people in the office, people on the road. And if possible, as you exert that gentleness for yourself and what you're feeling, try to extend that to strangers and people on the road as well, because with full moons, people are going to be a little bit more knee-jerk, a little bit more impulsive, a little bit more easily triggered. It does not have anything to do with you. Like I said, there's a part of this week's astrology that we're channeling our inner toddler. So there could be people, grown adults, having temper tantrums with this week, okay? And it really has nothing to do with you. It's just a week in which we're a little bit more reactive. So be gentle with yourself, and if possible, be gentle with others as well. And it's important not to misplace this anger and this frustration that is coming to the surface, because there's a lot within this week's astrology that is very reactive, that is very knee-jerk, and for some of us, we could be taking out our frustrations on our romantic partners with Venus squaring Uranus, or on other people within our life around, you're not the reason why I have to go to bed and I have to stop playing with dinosaurs, but I'm going to blame you because you're in front of it. You are going to bear the wrath of my temper tantrum because I want to keep playing with dinos. Like, that can be a potential of Venus squaring Uranus. Now, am I saying that all week we are going to be having temper tantrums because we have to go to bath time and start getting ready for bed? There's actually a lot of beauty encoded within this week's astrology, and a lot of inventiveness and creativity. We have Mercury trining Jupiter and trining Uranus. And so for those of you who have toddlers at home, you know they're so creative, they're so inventive, because they haven't learned that they have to control or moderate or restrain themselves. Think of the most inventive ways to play, because they just allow themselves, their individuality, and their creativity to shine through. They're not restraining themselves or trying to keep it together, trying to control themselves around, can't feel that, can't express that. They just allow themselves to show up as messy, as raw, as creative, as inventive as that may be. And you know, if you have toddlers at home, they think of the most creative ways to play. They really do. Never a dull moment, never a dull moment. So there's almost this energy this week where when we allow ourselves to be real and to be authentic and to be raw with what is coming up, some novel perspectives can occur because of that allowance. And then Mercury clears the shadow, officially ending the Mercury retrograde story and entering into new terrain. So there is this energy around being able to move forward. Maybe there's some uncomfortable revelations, maybe there's some uncomfortable emotions surfacing, but there's also this energy around allowing these emotions to come up as big and as urgent and as immediate as they may feel, allowing themselves to come up so we can purify them and just kind of burn it away, let it go. That's the energy, allowing yourself and your emotions to be big and raw and messy, and knowing that this allowance of what's coming up and these revelations and these emotions are giving you the permission and the space to be able to move forward, to be able to let go of what was and step into a brand new chapter, which, may I say, after this full moon, it is officially eclipse season. So things are going to get a little interesting within the cosmos. And I, of course, will be here every single week to guide you through. If you are looking at a big picture look at the wild ride that is eclipse season, aka October 2023, I deeply recommend checking out Magic Monthly, which is my membership here on YouTube. I craft you all sorts of astrology assets to really get familiar with these big picture themes, as well as how you can co-create with them, how you can live in alignment with eclipse season, because it is cosmic course correction season, aka karmic events accelerating season, aka transformation season. It's a wild ride. So if you are looking to live in alignment with these themes, understand more what themes are showing up within this month's astrology and how they are showing up within your universe, make sure to check it out. Comments tier, you're just supporting the channel, and I am so grateful. Thank you so much. Planets tier, I make you a little calendar so that you can see all of the aspects of the month ahead with little icons that designate what each is good for. And then the galaxies tier, I craft you an entire astrology digital planner with detailed information on every single aspect and co-creative opportunities for each. So if you want to check that out, hit the join button below, or there is a link within my description. And I just want to say thank you so much. We've had a bunch of new members, which I'm so grateful for. Thank you so much. And a fun little bonus that we threw in for this month is that I did give you a synopsis of the Aries full moon, as well as a rising sign by rising sign forecast for what may be coming to the surface within your universe. I do want to apologize. Typically I do a new moon and full moon all signs forecast on my YouTube channel. This month I was not able to because I've been working hard on the upcoming eclipse video, which I cannot wait to share with you all, but I was not able to get to an Aries full moon forecast. So I decided to write a deep dive for the individuals within Magic Monthly. So before we dive in and really paint a picture on the thematic as well as day-by-day energetics that you will be experiencing as you navigate this week's astrology, take a step inside my cosmic cafe. Let me know what you are sipping on to start your week below. I have a cup of tea. Can you tell? And I am genuinely curious. Can you let me know, would it bother you if you were drinking a beverage other than tea from this cup? Would that bother you at all? Or is that just my Virgo placements wild in? Sound off in the comments because I'm genuinely so curious, because it might just be me being extra, honestly. And listen, I'm grateful. Okay, I'm very grateful. In the morning time, my boyfriend will make me coffee. He brings me coffee in bed every single morning. And a lot of times he'll put coffee in this cup and it says what it is. Okay, I might be extra. Would that bother anyone else? And it's not like it ruins my day, but it just starts it on a confusing note where I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? It says the beverage that this cup was designed for, but again, it's just a cup. Anyways, I am drinking maple espresso black tea blend. Okay, it says tea, I'm drinking tea, it makes sense. But alas, let's go ahead and take it into Vibe Check of the Week in order to paint a picture on what the vibe of this week is. So in Vibe Check of the Week, we essentially take all of the astrology that we will experience within this week's astrology from Venus square Uranus, Aries full moon, Mercury trine Jupiter, trine Uranus, clearing the shadow. We take all of that and compare it to a real life scenario so that even if you're not familiar with the intricacies on what all of these pieces means, you can sort of tune into a big picture vibe or scenario around how this energy may surface for you as you navigate your realistic daily life. So this week's astrology, it feels like the following scenarios. So we'll say that you're having a good day. It's a Monday and you're having a magical Monday. You like your outfit, you got all your tasks done, you're getting warm responses from your customers and clients, your crush texted you, and so when a friend hits you up and is like, hey girl, like on Friday, do you want to go check out that new roller rink? You're like, heck yes, because you're just feeling yourself. You have this optimistic approach to life. But the thing about good days and the thing about good moods is that sometimes they could be fleeting, unfortunately. And that was a Monday that you were feeling yourself and in this good mood and your crush texted you and you're getting good feedback and you liked your hair and your skin was clear. But by Friday, you are a completely different person and you have had quite the week. People have tried you, life has come for you, and you are not the same gal who agreed to this plan. You are not the same person. And so when your friend texts you on Friday, like, hey, what time do you want to go? And by the way, my friend Amelia is going to be there and you're cool with Amelia, but you have just had such a week from hell that you know you cannot just put on a happy face and roller skate next to Amelia. If it was just you and your bestie and you could be like, girl, let me tell you about all of the people who tried me this week, all of the things that came for me this week, all of the times I was hanging on by a literal thread this week. If it was able to be like that sort of therapeutic roller skate, you would maybe say yes, but you're in a space where you're like, I cannot put on a happy face. Like I'm just not in the mood. There's no way I can just roller skate and talk about the weather next to Amelia. Like I just cannot do it. And you're feeling pressure because you're like, oh, I committed to this plan. I don't want to be a flake. I don't want to flake, but I know I can't fake it. That's a huge part of this week's astrology is this energy around we can't fake it. Because even with Venus square Uranus, is this energy around I have to be true to myself. I can't just play nice and keep everything under wraps just for appearances and giggle and smile and act like everything's fine. It's not. I've had a horrible week. I'm exhausted. I'm drained. I'm sad. I'm emotional or whatever is coming up for you. And listen, I'm not saying it's going to be a week from hell for everybody, but there is this energy around I can't fake it any longer. And like we were saying at the beginning, toddlers don't fake it. They're very forthright forthright. If you ask them something, they will let you know. Part to this week's astrology where we can't fake it. We can't just put on a smiley face and act like everything's fine and roller skate next to Amelia and talk about the weather. There's this energy around, no, I had a bad week. I can't be fake right now. And I don't want to be in an environment where I'm going to have to do the societally and socially expected thing by just smiling and keeping it all under wraps and being polite because I want to scream. I want to scream and cry. That is the sort of week that I've had. And again, I'm not saying everyone's going to have this week from hell, right? But what I am saying is that there's a demand in the cosmos for us to be real and authentic and not fake it and allow ourselves to feel what is coming up without feeling like we have to hold it together underneath a veneer of trying to keep small talk with Amelia, trying to roller skate without crying. And sometimes you do have to make these decisions to honor yourself, which the Aries moon can bring to the surface, because we have the sun in Libra, which is about relationships and partnership. There's a significant part of you that wants to just go, just to appease your best friend. Maybe you say, hey, I can't roller skate, I'm not feeling up to it. And she gets upset. She's like, but we had these plans, right? And the energy of Libra, there could be part of you that wants to relent and run, she's right, we made these plans, I just need to show up, be a good sport, push all this down. But sometimes you do need to choose yourself over other people's comfort or what would be easier. Sometimes you just have to choose yourself and advocate for yourself around, that is not an environment that I need to be in right now. It would require me to be fake and hold together, and I just need to ugly cry and scream. Like, that is where I'm at right now. And that's where it comes down to honoring our inner toddler, where sometimes we just have to throw a little pity party and throw a little temper tantrum for us to get it out of our system and release that week, right? And not be fake and feel like we have to hold it together to do what's societally and socially expected of us, to hold together underneath a veneer, right? In order to maintain appearances, because the right people that are in your universe will allow you to be messy and raw and not expect you to fake the funk or keep it together under a veneer. Like, maybe you come to that bestie and yeah, she's disappointed, and part of you with the Libra season energy is like, should I just do it just to smooth feathers so no one's mad at me? There is that temptation, but with the Aries energy, it's like understanding any relationship that requires me to sacrifice certain parts of my integrity is maybe not a friendship that I necessarily want to be in. Like, this is the axis of self and other, and how self is allowed to shine within its rawness, within its individuality, within these partnerships, within these connections of ours, and being able to prioritize the me within the equation of you plus me. Okay, I know you want me there at the roller rink, and I know we did make these plans, but for me to be there, I'm literally going to have to fake it and put on a show, and I literally just don't have the energy at my disposal. Like, when it comes to friendships and relationships, we have to give people the wiggle room to be human, and we have to be able to celebrate the relationships that allow us to be human. Now, am I saying we should flake on all our plans? No, it's not always the right decision, right? Maybe you would go to the roller rink and have fun and laugh and get closer to Amelia. Maybe you would, but it's a decision you have to make for yourself around, how can I advocate for myself? How can I choose myself right now? How can I remember that I am just as important as these individuals? How can I remember that no one's more important than anyone else, but maybe in this circumstance, I have to advocate for myself, right? Like, maybe I was supposed to carpool for Amelia and my best friend, and maybe it creates a little hiccup in their plans. But again, I can't put my well-being at risk in order to make other people's lives more comfortable and more easy. Like, sometimes it's just not your responsibility. Your responsibility at the end of the day is to be your own biggest advocate. And maybe this won't show up at the roller rink. Maybe this will show up around needing to advocate for yourself on a work project around, hey, I know it's expected for me to go above and beyond and stay late on this, but I have other priorities within my life that need attending to. Or advocating within a relationship around, hey, this is a matter and this is something that's important to me that I need to fight on. This is valuable to me. In the you plus me, there's me, and I'm the one who needs to advocate and show up for that, because the energy of Libra, it is around the balance of those two perspectives, of those two people. And it's not fair for you to be in a relationship that is constantly about the other person. And I just feel for some of you, there's going to be a recalibration of sorts around, I always do what my best friend wants to do, and she always guilts me to going out, even when I'm having a bad mental health day or I'm really going through it. And she always drags me to go hang out with her and Amelia, even when Amelia and I just don't click. And I always put her comfort above my own, because that's just the dynamic. Like, some of you need to remember that you're equally part of this dynamic, and this season is about balance. It's not about putting all of our energy and attention to other people, their comfort, their well-being. It's remembering, hey, I also have a part to this scale, right? That's true balance. And the right relationships will allow you to take up space, will allow your side to have some weight, because we can all wish that life is perfect all of the time, and that we make it to every plan, that we don't have the week from hell, and that we're able to just keep it together and roller skate without crying or without cussing somebody out in the roller rink, because we've just had one of those weeks. We wish for that and we want that, but we have to allow the space for ourselves to be human and to be messy and to be raw and to be honest. And that's where it comes back to that inner toddler trope that I was chatting you through, because the thing about toddlers is that they're very honest with you. Sometimes too much, but they're very honest about how it is that they're feeling, how it is that they're feeling about you. I was just in my hometown hanging out with my nephew. He's almost 3, and he's an Aries moon himself, and he's really into planets right now, which is obviously so fun for me. He's super into black holes. He's like terrified of black holes, which I get. That is kind of scary when you're younger. But anyways, we were drawing planets and shooting stars, and I drew Saturn, which albeit was not my best Saturn, okay? And I don't know why I asked him this, but I was like, you like what Auntie Hay drew, the Saturn? And he's like, no. Very straight up. And then we got into another game. Like, seriously, hanging out with kids, they're so inventive with the games that they come up with. Like this game, we were jumping off a slide backwards. That sounds really dangerous. I swear, I'm not a bad aunt. It was a very small slide. It was very close to the ground. And we would just jump off the slide while throwing his plastic cookies in the air. And it was like literally maybe, you know, a half hour of entertainment. So I jumped off the slide and like jumped up and put the cookies up, and I was like, did I get high? Was I high up there? And he's like, no. Like, he really let me know. He let me know everything he thought. And it's only when we're adults that we are oftentimes taught about social niceties and keeping things harmonious and telling people what they want to hear and people pleasing. But a lot of times when kids are little, and obviously this isn't always a great quality, but they just allow themselves to be. And that can be so much less energy than having to step into, what's my best friend gonna think if I say no to this plan? What's Amelia gonna think if I say no to this plan? Like, sometimes you just need to be your own advocate around, what do I need right now? If I know that going to that roller rink is not what is best for me at this moment, how can I just allow myself to be honest within that need and not judge it, not worry what other people are going to say about it, but just understand, hey, there's some times that I just need the space to be human and to let you down a little bit. I wish I didn't have to, but I just cannot, in good conscience, in good mental health, in good well-being, be at the roller rink small talking with Amelia. I just can't fake it today. Like, that is the vibe. So when it comes to this week's astrology, you will be asked to be honest and to be real. Not everybody will have this horrendous week, thank goodness, but there will be some emotions that are demanding you to be honest and to be forthright about what it is that you need, particularly when it relates to your relationships. And with Venus square Uranus, some of you may be called to break the mold around certain grooves that we have been in when it relates to our relationships. Maybe when it comes to your relationship with your best friend, you always just go, even if you're not up for it, your friend guilts you and is like, well, you're meant to carpool with me, so you have to come with you and Amelia. And that's sort of the role that you play. Like with Venus square Uranus, it's like disrupting around, I'm not going to sacrifice what it is that I need in order to be at the roller rink so that you have a ride. Like, I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me. And with Venus square Uranus, there might be certain disruptions, revelations, epiphanies that you have within people in your life. If your friend isn't understanding around you needing the night, maybe that's valuable data to honor when it relates to your friendship with this individual. Like with Venus square Uranus, we could be craving a change or disruption as it relates to our relationships. Some of this can be allowing the raw, authentic parts of ourselves to show. Like maybe within that vibe check, when you explain to your bestie around, hey girl, like I wish I could be there, I just can't, I'm not feeling up for it, this and this is happening, I just can't fake it tonight. Maybe that adds a whole new level of depth when it relates to your relationship around allowing yourself to be an individual within it. right? That's what Uranus is all about. So I don't mean to put it on you that everybody's going to have, fights within their relationship and friendship breakups. Sometimes when we grant ourselves a space to be messy and vulnerable and human, it actually adds a layer of depth, a layer of allowance within our connection. When we allow ourselves to say, hey, this is how I'm showing up, okay? I'm not doing well. Week has tried me in so many ways. It started so optimistically and so positively, and then it just devolved from there. And maybe that adds this whole new layer of authenticity, because I just believe the world would be a lot more of a fun place to be if we stopped faking it so much. And I think that's part of North Node in Aries overall. So we will be taking a look at this week's astrology by taking it day by day. Just a quick reminder that all times that I mention will be PDT, so please adjust to your time zone before putting into your planner or making a mental note. There is a gear icon to speed me up, slow me down, adjust the pace of which I am talking to sync with how it is that you process information. And there are timestamps below so that you can jump to a particular day or jump back to a particular day. And there should be, if I did not forget, there should be timestamps below so that you can jump to a particular day, jump back to a particular day. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take it into Monday, September 25th. So Monday's astrology is that vibe in the vibe check where you're having a great day, you're having a good hair day, your skin is clear, your crush is blowing up your phone, you're productive at work, and things are just feeling good. And the thing about moods and the thing about life, which astrology is a continual reminder of, is that there's waxes and wanes, and there's really good days and there's really bad days, and it all is consistently ebbing and flowing. And if it grants you any solace, this is what I always tell myself when I'm having a bad day is I'm like, ooh, this must mean that tomorrow is going to be a really good day. I don't know why. It's a pattern that I've observed with my world around. I have a bad day, then a good day, and a bad day, and a good day. And again, you can define what a good day versus a bad day means for you. Maybe it's like your mental state, right? Maybe it's how much you get done. Maybe it's how present you were. Maybe it's how attuned you were into your routines. But it's important to allow ourselves that space for fluctuation around what it is that we're feeling, and to savor those days that we are feeling optimistic, that we are feeling good, that we are feeling productive, which it feels for a lot of us Monday will be. We have Mercury in Virgo trining Jupiter in Taurus. This is productive energy. This is getting things done, dotting our T's and crossing our I's. We can be biting off more than we can chew, as Jupiter is whispering to Mercury this energy of optimism and expansion. So you could be like, yeah, I can go to the roller rink on Friday and get this proposal done on Thursday and go on this date with you on Wednesday. Like, we're biting off potentially more than we can chew on Monday. So that is one thing to be cautious of. But I will say we have the detail orientation of Mercury in Virgo meets the big picture planning of Jupiter. So it is a really optimal week to take a moment as you move into this week. What would the best utilization of this week be? And listen, we have a Uranus aspect this week, so it's probably going to manifest different than how it is that you see it, but sometimes it is super helpful to have a plan, right? Have a plan around, this is my priority this week. This is something that I want to get done. These are my to-dos. This is my time blocking. Whatever it looks like for you, I think it might be helpful this week to just have a plan around what you need to get done each day, because it does kind of cut down the decision fatigue when you know, okay, these are the tasks that I have on my plate, and if I can do these, I'm going to feel really good about myself. I'm just going to feel satisfied. I have these tasks on my plate. I'm going to get them done, and it's going to feel good. Because again, getting things done feels good. And if you are currently going through it and it's very challenging for you to get things done, allow those goalposts to be small as you build that muscle. Little things can be something to celebrate. Proud of, maybe it's minor. Maybe it's just feeling proud around, hey, I brushed my teeth today. Hey, I cleaned my room today, and that's what I could do, and I'm proud of myself, and that was that. That's amazing. Celebrate those small wins, and that can help you build momentum to take on the bigger things and the bigger things, right? But there's this energy with Mercury and Virgo around, it just feels like it's feeling good to our brain to get things done, to get something handled, right? It could be something around the home. It could be something at work. It could be maybe a conversation that you've been avoiding, but there's this energy around feeling this energy of satisfaction or around, I got that done. Maybe it was something that I was avoiding. Give yourself permission to cheerlead you getting things done. And you get to set those goalposts on what you are proud of within yourself. Maybe for some of you, you're proud of yourself that you finished that proposal. You know how good that feels when you cross something off your to-do list and just breathe that sigh of release around, it's done. It's worth it, right? When you have that particular moment. And listen, you get to set the goalposts around what a win looks like. And if you're going through something and a win for you is getting out of bed, maybe a win for you is cleaning your room, maybe a win for you is calling to make an appointment. Like, don't feel like when I say these words around being productive and getting things done that it necessarily has to do with work. Like, the goalposts for all of us are different. And sometimes just taking that small effort, especially if we are going through something, can be helpful around flooding our brain with happy, feel good, productive chemicals that can help us have the next goalpost and the next goalpost and the next goalpost. That's why sometimes I'll write things down on a to-do list that are so minor around get up. Because then once I get up, I'm like, okay, I can cross that off. Like, that little moment of crossing it off, it makes me feel a little bit more confident to take on the next thing. Around, okay, go to this exercise class. Okay, I feel so proud of myself for getting out of bed. I can handle the next thing. And then you feel a little bit more capable of handling the next thing. Like, again, that can be a snowball effect. That can be momentum building. And celebrate your wins, whatever they may be. For some of you, you might just be feeling really proud of yourself around, I got out of bed. That is an accomplishment today. I brushed my teeth, thank God. I cleaned my room. Whatever that looks like that is the first step to building positive momentum and building healthy habits, is feeling proud of yourself for whatever it is, as small as it may be. Maybe for some of you, it's feeling proud of yourself around, I wrote a poem. I wrote a page for my upcoming book. I made that post for my new social media business. Like, small things become bigger things. And the moment that you take a moment to be like, I did it. Like, I'm proud of myself. I took one step. It makes you a little bit more confident to handle the next thing on your to-do list and the next thing on your to-do list. And it feels good to get things done. There is a sense of satisfaction on those days where you're like, I got the things done on my to-do list. Like, that feels good. I feel like you sleep better. I mean, maybe that's just my Virgo moon, but when I have a day where I get everything done that I was slated to get done, and oh my goodness, I feel on top of the world. And it's not me saying that my worth is tied up into my ability to do what my schedule allows me to, but I just feel proud of myself around, Haley, you freaking did it. You had these initiatives on your to-do list and you met them. Like, cheerlead yourself for getting things done, for going to the gym, for cleaning your closet. Little things deserve celebration as well. And that's the vibe of Monday, is that it feels like we're building positive momentum and we're feeling good about ourselves. And we're taking opportunities to celebrate and to feel proud of ourselves for this positive momentum that we are building. And really, for a lot of us, there's just this vibe around being able to look at the world through this lens of opportunity and what could be. Mercury is about details, Jupiter is about big picture. So we're both gifted with being able to break something down into the details, as well as understand how those details are helping the big picture. So maybe for some of you, now that Mercury is direct and it's almost cleared the shadow, it clears this weekend, maybe you're having this energy around, okay, I got all this data during Mercury retrograde and I really want to invest and grow my energy towards this project, right? And this could be helpful to plan out the seasons around how you want to show up for this project. Maybe it's committing to a certain schedule or certain timeline around how you want to show up. Maybe it's making a decision. Maybe it's writing some copy for your new website. There's something around you're using your mental energy and you're using the attunement to the details to build your big picture. And it feels good to build. It feels good to move forward within a positive direction. And like I said, whether it's outlining how this week is going to go, or it's outlining how this project's going to go, this new business is going to go, this new passion project's going to go, this new novel's going to go, there will be diversions to the plan. We do have a Uranus aspect this week. There will be twists and turns as it relates to it, but it feels good to begin painting the picture around what that vision will be, and to supplement it with this really defined Mercury and Virgo eye around the details that are filling it in, around, you know, you're writing your novel and you're starting to see the characters, you're starting to inhabit their world. And yes, you might be surprised as you write it around, whoa, I did not know that character was going to take that turn. My initial outline, I didn't see the character taking this turn, but that's what's feeling good at the moment. Like, your journey will have twists and turns in it as well. But it feels good to dream. It feels good to attune to the big picture. It feels good to make a plan. And it helps you begin to build that positive momentum to move your life in a new direction, or to build the the big picture. You will be surprised by where it takes you, but it feels good to have a plan, because when you have a plan, you can reverse engineer it around what are the steps needed to bring this vision that I see within my mind's eye to life. Will it look different when it's in real life? It will, but being able to put some energy towards it helps me begin to do my work of these little steps in order to fill in the gaps of that picture that I see. Also on Monday, we have the Aquarius moon squaring Jupiter in Taurus. Now, this was the vibe around saying yes to the plan, right? Because with Mercury trine Jupiter, we're seeing the world in terms of optimism. We're like writing our novel and like creating the outline or designing our project or getting things done at work. Like we're feeling good. We're feeling productive. We're feeling optimistic. So we're like, sure, I'll go roller skating, right? With you this Friday. And with the Aquarius moon, we do want to connect, right? Aquarius is about community and groups. And with the square to Jupiter, maybe we are biting off more than we can chew, right? Our emotions might be pronounced. We might be feeling things intensely. For some of you, Jupiter, it's a benefic, okay, but it does have a downside. Like with the Aquarius moon squaring Jupiter, all sorts of emotions can be enhanced, right? Maybe you're feeling Jupiter expanding your mental space with Mercury trine Jupiter, having all of these thoughts and worries come to the surface. Maybe there's a pronounced need to want to nurture yourself. Again, Jupiter expands either good or bad. So some of you might be feeling really emotional in a great way, full of love, wanting to pour love on your friends. Maybe you're having meetings and focusing on big picture planning or something in the nature. And maybe there's other uncomfortable emotions that are surfacing as this full moon builds. Allow both and use this Monday as an opportunity to nurture yourself. And as it feels good, begin to attune to the big picture plan or the big picture vision of what it is that you're building. Like I said, you will be surprised by how it actually permeates, but there are parts of that vision that will transpire exactly as you see it within your mind's eye. And it's up to you to attune to that picture and break it down with Mercury and Virgo around the details, the action steps in order to bring it into life. You know, Aquarius is a sign that is associated with the future. And with the sextile to Chiron, maybe there's something healing about designing your future or attuning to your future. Maybe that's something that's helpful in navigating the now around I don't really know what I'm doing right now. I don't really know what's going on with my life right now, but it feels good to daydream about the future. If anything, maybe it helps me escape from the present moment, detach from the present moment, but it feels good to daydream about what could be. Like, what do you guys think about when you're trying to fall asleep? What do you think about? Because all I ever think about is like what it is that I want. Like I transport myself to this future version of what it is that I want. And I do think it can be helpful to manifest. But my doing that didn't stem from being like, oh, I'm going to manifest this. It was just literally to escape and to cope during some challenging times, to think about a better tomorrow, a more beautiful picture of what I could be stepping into in order to just cope with the today. And it's weird because a lot of those visions have manifested, which is bizarre. But again, it came out of this coping strategy. And the reason I highlight that is because the Aquarius moon sextiles Chiron in Aries. So there can be something about daydreaming about the future that is feeling healing and feeling renewing around. It's not always going to feel like it does today. And my world will not look like this forever. Like Aquarius is a sign that is concerned with the future. And with it sextiling Chiron, there can be something healing in regards to it. There's also something coming through around something healing about community, feeling seen, feeling safe. Because like I said, Jupiter can enhance certain emotions that are coming up. And with the Aquarius moon squaring Jupiter, maybe there's certain sensations coming up around, I feel different than the people around me. Like I don't feel the same. I feel like an outcast. And with the Aquarius moon sextile Chiron and Aries, honoring and celebrating those moments when you do feel seen, when you do feel safe to be raw and to be messy with those friends that you could be like such an utter weirdo with, right? Those friends that you don't have to fake it and pretend, just roller skate and be like, everything's groovy when you know it's not. Like the sextile to Chiron is either painting the picture around the community that you want to call in, the friendships that you want to call in, or celebrating that if that is part of your experience currently. So on Tuesday, the 26th, the Aquarius moon will trine Mars in Libra a little after midnight. So this should be a burst of energy to want to collaborate, to work together. For many of us, we will be asleep. Then the Aquarius moon will oppose Venus and square Uranus. So there can be parts of us that are feeling restless all over the place, a little floaty, a little not here, totally maybe wanting to have fun or something Venusian like that. And so there will be parts of us that will be feeling a little restless, a little frustrated, craving disruption, wanting spontaneity and fun and romance, right? With the opposition to Venus and the square to Uranus. Just as something around feeling restless and wanting to be anywhere but here. There could be this resistance around, I'm at work, but I would rather be here. I'm doing this, but I would rather be doing this. There's this stubbornness around holding on to how we feel like things should be without just allowing how they are now. And that's a huge theme of this week. It's just that allowance around just accepting these emotions to come up as messy as they are. We wish the week would have gone down where we just had this great week and then we were able to roller skate with our friends. We wish that would have happened, but where can we just allow, hey, that's not where the week took me? And rather than kicking and screaming, wishing it would be different, how can I just allow it to be, even if it's messy? And when it comes to navigating Tuesday, it's not the most productive day. Let me say that. So I'm glad Monday was a nice productive day if you're not too much in the Jupiter energy of, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. Because tomorrow shows up, right? Tuesday is Monday's tomorrow. So if you did leave certain things around, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, it's a void moon all day, with the closing aspect being a square to Uranus, which can be energy around feeling a little erratic all over the place, feeling very mentally agitated, feeling very frustrated, wanting things to be different than how they are now, maybe being easily distracted, or really just a vibe around, I don't want to. You could be rebelling, not in the mood. And then the moon enters Pisces at 5:18 p.m., which draws our awareness to our emotions, right? So we have a building full moon in Pisces, and this can be an emotional time. And the energy of Tuesday, the Pisces moon meets up with Saturn. So there can be a certain uncomfortable emotions. Again, there's something around, I don't want to feel this way, so I'm fighting against feeling this way. Or I don't want my life to look like this, so I'm fighting around my life looking like this. The energy of Pisces is, how is it that I can flow and just surrender to how things are transpiring? It might not be ideal in this particular moment, but like I said, moods are constantly waxing and waning. Life is constantly waxing and waning. It won't always be like this. It won't always feel like this. So that just feels to be important to remind you, because with the Pisces moon on Saturn, something could be feeling heavy. Something's feeling frustrating. There's a lot of responsibilities on your plate. There's a lot of people relying on you. And with the energy of Pisces, you might be feeling defeated. You might be feeling emotional, but I promise this too shall pass. And for some of you, maybe you're being asked to work that muscle around doing what makes you feel connected. Maybe all you want to do after work because you had such a bad day, all you want to do is collapse into bed, but you know for your own spirit, you'll feel better if you go for a walk. Maybe all you want to do is kick and scream, but you know for your spirit, you'll feel better if you pray, or if you meditate, or if you listen to Magic Monday. Like, sometimes showing up for ourselves spiritually is a muscle to work around. This is what would be easier to do, just like eating Cheetos and dissociating while watching reality TV. And hey, there's a time and place for that, okay? I'm not judging. But all I'm saying, with this Pisces moon on Saturn, it's like, what would help me connect to my own big picture? What would give me a sensation of solace? What would genuinely care for my soul right now? Even if it's hard, even if I'm mad at God because of the day that I had, and how many people have tried me today, or what have you, how can I work that muscle around showing up for my spirit, showing up for my connection to a higher power, to the universe overall? It's not always easy, but it does grant a sensation of solace around, in the bigger picture, it all really is okay. Like, it's important to take a departure from the day-to-day every so often to realize, hey, I'm just a soul on a rock crying about a spreadsheet. Like, it truly is okay. Let me remember that I'm just a soul having this experience, so that I'm not taking it too seriously, right? And sometimes that is a muscle to remind yourself around, hey, this will not matter in 5 years. I'm just a soul having this human experience. Let me make sure that I have some fun while I'm here and connect while I'm here, and aren't so busy trying to pretend like everything's okay and trying to be cool and have it put together all the time that I'm denying myself the opportunity to be human, to feel big emotions, to have dramatic moments. It might feel heavy right now, but it won't always feel like it does today. On Wednesday, the 27th, the vibe does feel productive. Just make sure to pay attention to the details. The Pisces moon does oppose Mercury in Virgo, so it may be worth doing a double check, just making sure that all the details are in alignment. It is worth repeating that Mercury has not officially cleared the shadow, so it might be nice to just take a moment around double checking, refining, and the Pisces moon does sextile Jupiter in Taurus. So there is something coding Wednesday's astrology where you're being able to breathe in some magic into the mundane. Maybe you work that muscle on Tuesday around being like, all I want to do is just like, drink away my problems or what have you, but I worked that muscle. I took that bubble bath and I prayed and I studied astrology. Like I did these things that reminded me of the bigger picture. I allowed my humanity. I cried. I did the work, right? And it just feels like there's something on Wednesday where you are being reminded of this bigger picture in the mundane ways that you're showing up. Because again, your spiritual push-ups, you do build a spiritual muscle, right? And it's not in this energy of like superiority, like there are certain people that are more spiritual or what have you than others. But all I'm saying is when you show up for your spirituality, it does pay out dividends within your outer world. It truly does. And it is something to show up for. Like it does require doing your spiritual push-ups sometimes around doing the work, studying your craft or modality, whatever you're into, or prioritizing your healing work around journaling or cutting out bad habits or whatever it's showing up for you. Like the Pisces moon on Saturn is this reminder around, hey, I have to show up for this because this spiritual experience gets real when it comes to humanity. Because again, we can act like we are the most evolved spiritual person if we are totally disconnected from the world. It's when we take that work that we've been doing on ourselves and interact with this world that it gets real. Like you can do all of the inner child affirmations, all that you want, but if you don't allow your inner child to have a temper tantrum or to cry or to have messy or raw emotions, like is that work really integrating into your being? That's the word that's coming through, is allowing our spiritual work to integrate. And that happens when we pull that into our human experience. Like you can say all of the forgiveness mantras all you want, but are you really extending forgiveness to the individuals within your universe? You can say all of the loving compassion, but are you embodying that within your community, within your life? Like it just feels like something on Wednesday around taking our spiritual work and integrating it within our practical reality. Like you can say, this is my purpose, but is that interwoven into your brand statement, into your copy, into how it is that you show up with your clients? Like there's just a reminder around that bigger picture why and incorporating it as part of our daily routine that just feels really lovely on Wednesday. With the Pisces moon sextile Jupiter, it's feeling good to get things done. It's feeling good to move in this direction. It's feeling good to remember what it is that we are doing this for. And there just feels to be like, again, the spiritual journey, it's never about being the best or being the most spiritual, what have you, but there just feels to be something about how it is that you navigate Wednesday around. Maybe there's a situation where you would have in the past reacted one way, but you're able to sort of have this energy around extending an energy of love or compassion towards that person. You're like, oh wow, that's a new aspect of myself. Like these spiritual push-ups that I've been doing are paying off, right? Like I'm starting to see the work, right? Like I'm worried about something, maybe there's a health concern or something that's on my mind with opposition to Mercury and Virgo, but that work that I've been doing around praying, I really feel guided and supported by a higher power. Like I really feel safe that I can surrender my worries because it's not in my control at this moment in time anyway. Like I want you to know that work that you've been doing on your soul, on your healing, on your inner child, whatever it is, what spiritual work you're doing, it does have manifestations within our physical, tangible reality. So continue to show up. And there just feels to be a glimmer on Wednesday around feeling like, wow, what I've been doing is starting to pay off. So on Thursday, the 28th, we're a little sensy. We're a little sensitive. We're in our sensitive inner toddler bag, right? We are a little bit more affected by what is occurring around us and within us. With the full moon building, and today on Thursday, the moon meets up with Neptune, little things might be affecting us. Like there might be certain days when we are having a day like Monday where we're feeling good, we're feeling optimistic, we're feeling like anything could happen, right? And someone were to cut us off, we would just, because we did our spiritual push-ups, be like, oh, they must be really going through, just sending them loving compassion and keeping it moving. But let's say it is a day where you already are just full of doubt and you feel like you don't matter and you feel like no one sees you. So then when somebody cuts you off, you just burst into tears because you're like, see, nobody sees me, nobody cares, right? Like whenever I talk about Neptune energy, we talked about this last week as well, it's so important to remind you, like, we never really see things as they are, like objectively. We see things as we are. There could be a day in which someone cuts us off and we're like, oh, their poor soul. I'm sure they're going through it, and that's why they're behaving in such selfish ways on the road. And there might be certain times that it just makes us descend into this puddle of doubt and of not feeling valuable and not feeling enough because of the stresses that we're in. And so with the energy of the Pisces moon meeting up with Neptune, we're just more sensitive. We're just more affected by things. Like hanging out with toddlers, like we say, no, you have to stop playing with the dinos. But to them, they're feeling so rejected because they were having so much fun. They're like, what do you mean I have to stop playing with dinos? They're sensitive. They are internalizing, again, this is what you're saying, but they're internalizing like, I don't get to have fun. I don't get to play with dinosaurs. Because when it comes to being a toddler, it's like they don't have a lot of life experiences to go by. So yes, these little things that occur are going to feel like the end of the world. Like, what if this is the last time I get to play with dinos? Like, they don't have that much time to compare it to. Like, the older that we get, the more we realize, oh, the dinos will be there in the morning. They live life with such an urgency around it's all about the dinos right now, which again, with time brings clarity. Like, when we go to the other side of age, like there would be so many times working with my mentor, I would be freaking out about a transit and he would literally tell me, do you understand that I've done this multiple times? Do you understand I've had this transit like multiple times? And it's like, I didn't have the bandwidth around understanding that transits are just part of life. It's just highs and lows. It feels like the end of the world. When you're young, things feel like the end of the world. Whether you're inner toddler or like 20s, things feel like the end of the world because you don't have that much life experience to kind of base it on or to understand it will be okay, right? And with that age comes that clarity around the dinos will be there in the morning. You know, Saturn transits suck, but you get through it. You get to the other side, right? Life just continues to go on. And so I think we just need to be gentle with ourselves. So I think it's just important to be gentle with yourself around what it is that you're navigating around, what your inner toddler is screaming about today. Like sometimes you do need to just baby yourself and comfort yourself like you would a inner toddler, or even talk yourself down around the dino will be there tomorrow, or around this too shall pass. Like, be gentle with yourself. Like, we are all toddlers of the universe, okay? And I'm sure the universe, when we're having temper tantrums around, I wanted this to work out, the universe is like, come on, it's gonna work out. Like, get out of your own way, stop it. Like, I think when it comes to Thursday's astrology, what I want to say here is that we're just more sensitive. And when we're more sensitive, we can sometimes be more reactive with the full moon building. So if somebody lashes out at you and snaps at you, please just exert as much Neptunian grace as you can with them. And the magnitude may differ a lot, but again, these things can feel like the end of the world when they're transpiring. Even from our vantage point, we're like, it's not that big of a deal. The dino will be there. Give yourself the universal perspective around understanding to this person, this might feel like the end of the world. To this person who is mad because we're out of the candles that she wants and now she's yelling at me, even though I'm just working at Bath and Body Works or whatever, like to this person, this feels like end of the world. Like we all have an inner toddler within. And again, I'm not saying that it's nice to have temper tantrums with retail workers and things of that nature. All I'm saying is if available to you, exert that patience and that understanding around, hey, we all have an inner toddler within us and it's kicking and screaming, as well as be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe. You are doing the best that you can. We all are. So with that being said, with Moon Neptune, this is a day in which you could feel swept away. Like this is the vibe. Yesterday I was walking to a consult and I was listening to this album and I just started sobbing. Like I was just walking to this consult, sobbing down the street, just normal. And I was like, oh my God, can you imagine meeting up with your astrologer and she rolls up crying? Like I was like, girl, get it together. And it wasn't about the client that I was meeting with. I was just so moved by the music. Like that's Moon Neptune energy where we could just be crying at an album that we're listening to as we're walking to our consultation, or someone might have looked at us weird and it made us start sobbing. Like we're feeling things more intensely, and that can transpire in beautiful ways, like feeling this energy of synchronicity, feeling very connected, but we can also be feeling very lost at sea. It's a Pisces moon meeting up with Neptune. We could be feeling lost and disconnected and saddened by anything that we see. And I would love to know, how was last week's Sun opposite Neptune energy for you? Did you notice you were more emotional? Did you notice people were projecting things onto you? I'd love to know below what came up. I definitely was way more sensitive. I was at a party and there was these cupcakes. Like, I don't know how to explain it. They were like all dressed up with nowhere to go. Like they had these beautiful apples on them and caramel, and like no one was eating them, and I just felt so sad for them. I was like, why is nobody eating you? And I literally teared up looking at these cupcakes. They had a sad aura. Okay, I can't explain it. God, it's exhausting being a Pisces. Like, why was I empathizing for a cupcake? But all I'm saying, if you want to cry at something random, if something is stirring within you that you want to cry at a puppy commercial, you want to cry at cupcake, like allow yourself the space. With Neptune energy, we could just be feeling more emotional, more moved by art, more in the mood to want to escape. And with that being said, it's a great day to be around nature or to pray or to meditate. And it's not so great to be around energies that are kind of like bad vibes. You can be more affected by it. So if you have to have a meeting with team members where one of the individuals kind of has RBF and you always feel like they're mad at you, Thursday might not be the day for that, because you just could be a little bit more sensitive. Like most days you just brush it off around, that's just like how they are. But this is a day that you could be like, why don't they like me? Like with Neptune energy, we're just more affected. But I do want to say, last Neptune manifestation, you could just be feeling more sleepy and in a mood to escape and to like run away from life. That could be a major manifestation. So after the moon meets up with Neptune around 11 a.m., it sextiles Pluto, which should lend itself around feeling more powerful. If possible, dig deep. Like this would be a time around, why did the cupcakes make me sad? Like where do I feel like I'm all dressed up with nowhere to go? Where do I feel like I'm the cupcake at the party that everybody's ignoring? Like why did I have a reaction to that? And there's something around feeling saddened that things are changing, and that things are transforming, and that time is going by. And again, there's more sensitivity with Pisces moon meeting up with Neptune. Tread through this energy carefully. This would not be the time to like look at Snapchat memories or look at old love letters from exes. Like tread carefully. We're more sensitive, and there's something with the sextile to Pluto around things are changing. Maybe it's like feeling into the seasons changing and just understanding that things are evolving and shifting and time is going by. And every single moment is grieving of sorts. It's like there's so many big, beautiful beginnings happening every single moment, but there's so many things that are evolving and shifting, and there just feels to be a grieving of that. And we could be more sensitive, acknowledging that. Seasons are changing. People are getting older. Time is going by. And again, allowing the time to go by. We create so much of our suffering around feeling like things need to be different, or feeling like we need to force time or stop time or make it exactly as it is. But there's just this vibe around just allowing things to be as they are, as messy and as human as that may be. So after that sextile to Pluto, the moon will be void at 1:58 p.m. and the moon will enter Aries at 5:17 p.m., which is the sign of the full moon. So the full moon does exact early on Friday, so I'm telling you, Thursday can be an emotional day. Now I'm hoping for you, maybe this Pisces moon meeting up with Neptune is all these good feels, feeling very connected with the universe. Maybe where you're feeling this raw, demanding of expression, this urgent expression of emotion that we see within toddlers. Maybe you're feeling it within wanting to play, wanting to celebrate the present moment, wanting to giggle and allow our joy to be forthright and big. Like toddlers aren't just, an exemplification of what it means to have these big, negative emotions. They also laugh and play. They feel everything big, and they don't know that we are expected to cover it and to hide it and to keep it all together, right? They just express it. So maybe for you, you're feeling all of these positive big emotions. Make it a big deal. Laugh, giggle, play, tell people you love them, create messy, beautiful, vulnerable art, right? And when it comes to Thursday, I just want to let you know, the moon will be void from like 2 to 5. So that's not the most opportune time as it relates to really significant things that you want to work on. And really with the full moon building, allowing the motions, positive or negative, to build right along with it. So on Friday, the full moon will exact at 2:58 a.m. I apologize because typically I do have an all signs forecast for every single lunation. I do want to say I do have a rising sign by rising sign analysis available in the Magic Monthly membership. Just a little bonus for those in that container, so you can check that out. That is live if you're curious what this full moon is bringing up for you based on where it is landing within your chart. But this full moon is interesting because it's not making any aspects, right? It's balancing this axis of the Libra sun, which is all about relationships and connections and partnerships, with the Aries moon, which is all about self and identity. And this is where it comes down to this decision that you have to make around whether or not to go to the roller rink. And it's so minor, right? But a lot of you are contemplating much bigger decisions that really have to do with what does this person want me to do and what do I want me to do, and how can I advocate for myself in this situation. Like, I know what is expected of me. I know what is the nice thing to do, but at the end of the day, you need to understand that you are also worthy of advocating for yourself, and nobody will advocate for yourself in the ways that you will. So whether it's backing out of a plan and somebody's kind of upset with you, maybe it's making a decision that's contrary to what your partner wanted you to do. With this Aries energy, it's understanding I have a role within my life as well. Like, where is the me within this? It is not selfish to advocate for my own desires and my own priorities. And the reason I tied this vibe check around this energy, around saying no to a plan or not going to the roller rink, is because the ruler of this lunation is Mars in Libra, who's building to square Pluto. That happens next week and is gathered by the South Node. So there's something about this advocating for ourselves that involves letting something go. So there's something about this advocating for ourselves that means letting something go. And perhaps with South Node in Libra, letting go of people-pleasing behavior. Again, when you feel strongly what it is that you need, but you force yourself to go regardless or to take part of a decision when you know your integrity is not aligned with it, that can be self-betrayal, honestly. If you just force yourself to be at that roller rink when everything within you is like, I just need to be home right now. I just need a night to myself. I do not feel well. I do not feel good. That's like self-betrayal. No one's going to look out for you as much as you will. And a lot of us with South Node in Libra, and of course, we'll talk more about this with the eclipse season, but a lot of us are letting go of this people-pleasing or codependent behavior around my value is tied up into what I do for you or what I am for you. And again, maybe your best friend is, guilt tripping you. Maybe Amelia's mad because you messed with the ride. And again, sometimes it's okay for you to mean more within that moment around, hey, I want you to go to the roller rink. I want you to have a fun time. I want you to have this experience, but not at the expense of me. My integrity and my well-being and my mental health at this moment means more. It just does. And sometimes when it's like somebody is like, come on, you just need to go. You just need to go. You need to be able to advocate for yourself and be like, no. Like, do you want a life-size dummy that looks like me to be there? Because if I'm there, you won't even get the real version of me. It'll be putting on a mask, putting on a show, just pretending, fake giggling, just for your own comfort. And really contemplating how much of the me is in the we. Because I want you to know, you deserve to take up space. You deserve to have weight in every single relationship. If you feel like connections are lopsided around, it's always what my best friend wants to do. And even if I don't want to go out, I really just need a night to stay in. She needs to be at the roller rink because that's what she wants. And that's our dynamic. Like this energy around, no, I deserve to have a say in this friendship as well. And I deserve to be able to be myself. I'm not in a space where I'm able to just fake it and smile and pretend a roller rink. I'm going to be a wet blanket because I'm not feeling well. And understanding the right relationships, the right partnerships do have a component of you interwoven. It should not just be about the other person all of the time. There should be a balance here. And it's safe at this moment for you to be selfish about your needs, about your desires. Nobody will advocate for you like you will. And this will not be the story for everyone. Some of you might be appreciating the relationships in your life that allow you to be messy. Maybe another world of that vibe check would be this energy where you're saying, hey, I'm having a bad week. And instead of going to the roller rink, your best friend comes over and makes you pizza and you're able to talk about it and you're able to ugly cry and you don't have to fake it and pretend, right? Like some of you will have this appreciation around, wow, this relationship allows me to be me, right? I feel safe to be my own self. But for some of you, there might be this appreciation around, do you want me or do you just want a dummy that's roller skating next to you laughing at your jokes, right? Because the me that you were friends with is somebody who is messy and raw and had a bad week, right? And I need to be in environments that allow me to have that element of humanity and to disrupt if there is a role that is not allowing me to be that or to do that. Because on the same day, Venus is squaring Uranus. Now, this has happened a couple of times because it was part of Venus retrograde, but there is this disruption coming in with relationships. So what I want to say here is, with the Aries full moon, emotions are big. We can be feeling more knee-jerk and more easily triggered. And with Venus square Uranus, you might have a knee-jerk reaction around wanting to leave, right? Or wanting something different within a relationship. Again, honor the data, honor how safe you feel to be yourself, right? Aries within your relationships, that's the Libra sun, but also with Venus square Uranus, there can be something around being a little bit more impulsive, wanting to, break up with somebody or end a friendship, or maybe with Venus square Uranus, blow money on something random just so you feel something. Like there can be this energy around wanting to react in very novel, out of the box sort of ways, because Uranus is about rebelling. So you could have this energy around just wanting to depart a relationship or pick a sudden fight. Like again, there's this very immediate, urgent energy. And what I want to say with Uranus energy is that it's not very steady. It's not very stable. Honor the data, honor which relationships allow you to feel seen and to feel raw, but don't feel like you have to make a decision right now. And just be cautious around misplacing your anger or lashing out, because sometimes Uranus can make us behave in more impulsive ways. And with the energy of Venus in Leo, Leo is another energy that is very concerned around self-expression, right? So with Venus in Leo, which relationships allow me to express myself within my messiness, within my wholeness, within my authenticity, right? And which maybe do not. And that's been an ongoing story as it relates to Venus retrograde, so you'll want to check that out for more information. So maybe there's a role that you've been playing where the squared Uranus is like, I don't want to play this role anymore. I don't want to be the friend who goes along with everything that you say when I actually need some space right now. Like I need to receive right now. It's always about you. It's safe for it to be about me as well. Like I'm disrupting this role. Or maybe within your relationship, it's like you always expect this, and this is the time that I want to disrupt this. Like this cycle of people pleasing or making it all about you, it stops here. Because this is going to be an ongoing theme as it relates to the eclipses as well as South Node Libra, is shedding the shadow side of Libra energies, which can be being overly focused on appearances, going to the roller rink even when you feel horrible and because you don't want people to be mad at you, or you don't want Amelia to talk badly about you. So you just need to go for appearances so that nobody is mad at you. Or codependency, feeling like your value is tied up into, well, what if I have a night alone and then they have more fun without me and then I don't have any friends and I'm on my own. Like Aries energy celebrates our own ability to be our own person and to be on our own within this experience. And again, we are here to connect. The sun is in Libra. Celebrate the connections that allow you to have your own sensation of autonomy and agency within your own self. But just pay attention to which connections are requiring you to show up as a different version of yourself in the role that they have casted you within. Around the giggling gal next to me while I'm roller skating, even if the person is saying, hey, I'm not feeling well, I cannot fake it and just roller skate next to you, right? Like there is a disruption around roles that we've played. And yes, maybe your friend and Amelia will be mad at you. They'll get over it. Like that's why we're all channeling our own inner toddler. Like you can have a toddler who's having an utter tantrum about something. They'll get over it. People will get over it. They felt their feelings. They had an expression. It might have been frustrating to deal with, right? But we all get over stuff, right? And the right relationships for you will allow you these ebbs and flows, will allow you these fluctuations around. Not every day you're gonna feel up for it. There are going to be certain days that you are going through it and your needs are shifting and you need to advocate for yourself. Your own well-being is more important than what other people expect of you. Remember that. It's safe for you to advocate for yourself at this time. So Friday can be dealing with some of those emotions. The moon conjoins Chiron. So there's also something coming through around like a pang of loneliness. Because here's the thing. Like I said, Aries is a sign of self. So there's this reminder with the Aries full moon around, I've got me and I've got to protect myself and advocate for myself by having these hard conversations, by telling people no, right? By letting go of rules that I didn't agree to play. Like that is what I'm here to do. But with the Aries moon on Chiron, there's this pang around no one understands. Like there's this pang around, yes, feeling empowered that you are able to make these decisions to show up for yourself. But there's also this pang around feeling lonely or like, wow, nobody really understands what it is that I am moving through, or maybe even cares what it is that I'm moving through, or maybe I don't even know how to voice what it is that I'm moving through. Like I can't help thinking about toddlers and how frustrating that must be to be so upset about something and to not yet have the verbiage of being able to say what on you hurts, right? Or why it is that you're sad. That's got to feel so frustrating. And sometimes our human experience can feel like that because we could be like, is anybody out there? Does anybody understand? Does anybody get what it is that I'm moving through? It can feel so isolating within that. And it can feel empowering to be like, I've got me, I've got this, right? And there can also be moments where it's like dang, it really is me out here fending for myself, trying to do the best that I can, right? And to that, I just want to say it's a balance, right? Like Libra Sun, Aries Moon. Like for some of us, we're bringing the self back in our relationships. It's been mostly about others, and it's like this energy around, I've got to advocate for myself. Like my needs are not being heard here. I've got to fight for me because no one is going to fight for me like I'm going to fight for me. And maybe the Aries Moon and Chiron is that wound around, wow, I wish somebody would fight for me, right? I wish somebody would feel that my emotions, my well-being is as important as their comfort. They're having a fun, Friday night at the roller rink. But the other side of this is the Libra Sun, which is about connection and relationship. And there just feels to be a pang with the moon on Chiron around no one understands. No one gets it. The dimensions of what it is that we're moving through does differ. Like nobody is moving through your exact plight currently, but there might be shades, there might be themes that people can relate to. So also just being conscious of that energy around, it's all me, I'm in this alone. Firstly, I just want to let you know, like spirit's got you. Like don't forget to work that muscle around how am I connected to something bigger? How am I working that muscle around praying and meditating to feel connected to something bigger, but also working that muscle around, it's a balance. Are you allowing your vulnerability in your community to be felt within your relationships? Are you allowing yourself to feel held? Are you the type of person who does put on a mask and go to the roller rink and just have fun without allowing yourself to have those messy emotions? Like there can just be a pang towards that evening with the moon meeting up with Chiron. So on Saturday the 30th, Mercury clears the shadow. So this officially ends the Mercury retrograde story, which essentially gives you the cosmic green flag to contemplate new ideas, new decisions, new endeavors. Mercury is now exalted in new terrain of the sky, and it is welcomed by a trine to Uranus. Uranus is all about what is novel, what is out of the box. So there's something coming in on Saturday about a new solution to an old problem, new solution to old worries, right? With Mercury in Virgo. Maybe there's been something that you have been dealing with all Mercury retrograde long, where on Saturday it's like, oh, there's a simpler way to do things. There's a more novel way to deal with this old problem, or there's a new perspective that I can apply to this old problem that I've been experiencing. And there's also something inventive coming out as it relates to your conversations. Like again, with this disruption from the role energy that we're feeling on Friday with Venus squaring Uranus, with Mercury trine Uranus, it's like, have I voiced these concerns to this individual around, hey, I don't love how when we make plans, you invite your friend Amelia. Would having that conversation help me break out of this mold of Venus square Uranus? Like with Mercury trine Uranus, it's basically emboldening new ideas, right? It's new conversations, new outlooks. And so on Saturday, the moon is in Aries in the beginning portion of the day. And again, the full moon is now waning, but those emotions can still be heightened, especially when we consider that the Aries moon will oppose its ruler, Mars in Libra. So there can be this tension within us around whether or not we should make a big fuss or keep the peace. Like there can be a back and forth within it. And the Aries moon will trine Venus in Leo, emboldening creativity, which the Mercury trine Uranus is also helpful for. And then the Aries moon squares Pluto. So again, things can feel like the end of the world, but if we allow these emotions to be big and urgent and immediate, this too shall pass. The moon will be void from 2:50 p.m. until 6:18 p.m., at which point the moon enters Taurus, drawing our awareness to grounding down. It's a great self-care weekend. I call it the Aries full moon recovery weekend, and where it's like, okay, that was a lot. Let me do things that make me feel happy. Let me take a bubble bath. Let me make a delicious meal. Let me ground down, right, from all of those big, perhaps urgent emotions, whatever surface. And with Mercury trine Uranus, empowering different conversations, whether it relates to breaking out a mold or even just being open to different people's perspectives. Like that is an emphasis with the Aries full moon, is how we can learn about self, that's the Aries full moon, through the context of bouncing energy off other, that's the Libra sun. And again, we don't want to get too lost in it around my worth and myself is tied up into Amelia and my best friend liking me, so I'm going to do whatever they say and go roller rinking even when I need something different. But it's also empowering. Like let's say the next day you invite your best friend over, you share about what you went through, and she has this new perspective around, hey, have you tried this? Like a lot of times we can get stuck in our own mental grooves and our own processes. Like I think there's a statistic, I'll put it on screen, that like most of our thoughts as we navigate day to day are the same thoughts that we thought prior. Like we are in the grooves of how we typically process things, but when we open ourselves to novel conversations around, hey, this upset me, or hey, this came up, maybe someone else's perspective can enrich ours around, oh, I never thought about it like that. Or maybe your friend shines light on a component of the story and how that's been a dominant theme within your world and brings an awareness to you around why the events of this week bothered you so much. Like sometimes we don't see it when we're in our own experience, which is why bouncing energy off others can be helpful. So it truly is a balance. This Libra season, it truly is a balance, the self and the other. And it's not prioritizing others so much that there's no you within the connection, but it's also understanding we are here to connect and other people can have valuable perspectives or insights or even solutions to the problems that we've been stuck in, right? Like maybe this is energy as minor as it is. Maybe there's a household chore where it's like when you happen to mention it to a friend, she's like, oh, you don't just do this. And it is a simpler solution, right? Or maybe there's a problem you've been experiencing where someone says, have you just tried this? Like oftentimes we just don't see it when we're so locked into the problem. And sometimes someone from the outside can see a solution. So all I want to say on Saturday, it's supportive for inventive, out-of-the-box conversations, whether it's just weird, talking about aliens or what have you, or whether it's this energy around empowering solutions or being able to bounce off energy in order to brainstorm. And then Sunday is October, so happy October, and what a beautiful day it is. The Taurus moon conjoins Jupiter, so there's just this feel good, anything can happen vibe as it relates to Sunday. It's a day to stop and smell the roses, right? Like the theme of this week has really been around this inner toddler sensation, right? And yes, that can show up in moments when we're experiencing big emotions and having temper tantrums and what have you, but it also shows up around just being present and just relishing in these simple pleasures of life. Like it might not look like dino nuggets and playtime, but allowing yourself to be urgent about pleasure and enjoyment and the lovely things that are a part of your universe. Like we have a Libra sun, which answers to Venus, and a Taurus moon, which answers to Venus. So it's a lovely Sunday to just relish in the comforts and the delights in this present moment. Again, there might be much transpiring within the universe. We're moving into eclipse season. That's a huge part of October 2023 that aren't ideal, but there are parts of it that are. And gratitude is also a muscle to be worked. And with the Taurus moon conjoining Jupiter, contemplating how good right now can feel and being urgent about this particular day and just being super present by maximizing these moments of enjoyment, because we can't minimize suffering in life. We are going to suffer, unfortunately, ever since we were little. Like we had to stop playing with dinos, like we had to go to bedtime. Like the magnitude of suffering obviously differs. It's never going to go away. Happiness isn't about minimizing suffering. To a certain degree, it is about maximizing those moments of enjoyment, expanding them, blowing them up. Why just go for a walk when you can go for a walk and sniff the flowers and look at the clouds and just be really present as you look up at the leaves, and just expanding those moments of comfort of drinking a cup of tea with a dear friend, or making a pizza by scratch, or laughing with your partner, maximizing those moments, making them urgent, making them lovely, making them something bigger than they are currently. That's the ask of Sunday. Luxuriate, enjoy. And I do just want to say a warm happy birthday to Haley Comet Astrology, which the birthday of my business is October 1st. She is a Libra. I did not plan that at all. That was just the day. And I would love to celebrate with you all. You know, I'm big on birthdays, so we're going to have a little YouTube live stream on Monday the 2nd at 4 p.m. to celebrate. We'll do astrology Q&A. We'll do some giveaways. I'll eat some cake. You can grab a little beverage and join me. I would just love to celebrate with you all because I'm just so grateful. Like I'm just so grateful for this path. I'm so grateful for you all. I'm so grateful for this mission. Like it feels dramatic, but it does feel like something that literally picked me, or like the universe like really gave me this beautiful gift, because it wasn't even something that I consciously decided. Like I don't even know how to explain it to you. It just showed up. It just unfolded. And I'm so grateful. The day that this business was born was a very conscious decision that I made, because it was created at a time when I just didn't care that much about me, about what happened to me, So that is our week. The Magic Monday mantra of the week is, I allow the fluctuations of this experience. This week, there's a huge theme around this theme of allowing for us to have highs and lows. And this is important to bear in mind as we get nearer and nearer to these eclipses. Guys, they are on the horizon, and eclipses are when the universe intervenes or fate finds us, essentially. And the more that we can sort of surrender to the right things coming in, the right things departing, the more peaceful we will feel as we navigate this month. So this month is getting us ready for the transformation that eclipses will bring by just giving us fluctuations within our experience and just understanding we're going to have good days and bad days. We're going to have amazing blessings coming in and things that we thought would be our forever departing. And we just have to allow that fluctuation of our own moods, of our own experience, and trust that as we move into October, fated events are occurring. That's one thing that I want to say. What happens in October, what happens during eclipses, one thing that you can take solace in is that the events that happen around eclipses do have a purpose that extends beyond ourselves. And when we allow the fluctuations of this experience, we allow our own humanity. And that's what we came here to be. Spiritual beings having this human experience. So if you made it to the end of this reading, drop a cupcake below or use the word cupcake within a sentence. That's going to be a hard one. And I just want to say I adore you all so much. I hope that you have a beautiful week. I would love for you to check out Magic Monthly if any of those options were enticing for you. I just want to say I'm so grateful for everybody who supports the channel, whether you're part of the membership or just watch. Thank you so much for being here. I feel so honored and blessed that this is my 7th year of doing this. It really is something really special. So thank you for being part of this journey with me. So until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.